I promised you guys yesterday that I'm going to share the news about my food sensitivities and allergies and the test that I got back from about like 6 months of excluding lots of things out of my diet or, my eating, and doing the different treatments for what I've discovered at the beginning of last year. So I think it's important that I'm going to give you like a little bit of a preface to what was happening. So I'd say when I started like my most favorite program ever, my workout and my fitness, my eating, my everything program, that's like my soulmate, I was literally like having the best beginning to my entire year. I was getting in the best shape of my life, like in the best shape of my life. I was really good about my eating. So many things were going my way. So that started in January 2018. And then I realized that I was not really feeling myself. And then I realized that the feeling of something was off was actually beginning to kind of bother me. I was getting really tired very fast. I was bloated like all the time. I could literally look at water and I would get bloated for no reason. I am almost 37, like about a month away from turning 37, and I consider myself, and our doctor actually considered ourselves to be very healthy, like one of the very few that are super healthy, knock on wood. And so all these things were like random for me, totally random. I didn't realize what was happening. So I was super tired. I was always bloated. I didn't feel good a lot of the time. I was nauseous a lot. I was like not feeling myself. I was almost slipping into that negative mindset. I don't want to say full on depression, but it was definitely hard to get out of bed. And I was getting my 6 a.m. workouts done. I would wake up at 5, eat at 5:30, and then I would get my workouts in. And I had a very busy time that I would spend every single day working on my business, and then we have another business. And so it was like stressful. And I thought, well, maybe, just maybe, I am simply stressed or something else is, like influencing what was happening. And then I started to realize that I was having joint pain, like in my knees, in my hands. I literally would wake up and I would not be able to move my fingers, like none. I would have to sit there in bed and try to squeeze my fingers slowly so that they start moving. I noticed that I was dropping things all the time. And so lots of things. Like random stuff. And so what I really had to pay attention to was my food when we went to Spain, because over there I think it all came to a head and I was sick most of the time. My gut hurt so bad that I would find myself sometimes on days when we would eat lunch or dinner and I would like literally be on my floor where we were staying, or in my bed, like curled up in a ball crying because my pain was so bad. It's like somebody was taking a knife to your stomach and just stabbing you nonstop. I mean, it was awful, like awful. And so after we got back from Spain in September, I actually finally decided to go see a doctor. And so after running tests and stuff, we figured that I had a gut bacteria, and we don't know when it was contracted or how, because it's it literally, like most population in the whole world actually has the bacteria, but a lot of people don't understand why things are happening to them because they don't know they have that bacteria, because most of the doctors don't even test it unless somebody tells you about it, or you start doing your research, or you're very lucky to have a doctor like me who's actually digging deeper than the surface symptoms. And so that's exactly what happened to me. And he ran a series of tests. That was like not the fun time of my life, because I was not feeling good at all. It was like October of 2018, September, October. So that's when I tested. And so I came back positive for that gut bacteria, and I also came back with an like mind-blowing amount of food sensitivities, and some of them full-on allergies. And I never really, my adulthood was, like I said, I was a perfectly healthy person. I never had a reaction to any food at all. I never really had allergies to pollen or trees or shrubs in my entire life. And so I would sneeze here and there, like hay fever or something when I lived in Montana, but I never experienced any of that. And here we were, once we moved to Vegas, my allergies like full on launched into this crazy whirlwind. And so as I was trying to figure it all out, my doctor thought that I obviously need to start a treatment. And if you guys want to see like my regimen, what I did, just DM me a comment or whatever, and I will give you the 2 videos that I did. They're kind of lengthy, but I think it's really going to help you with what you might be facing, because a lot of the times I think when the doctors look at something or they think that something is happening, there are not necessarily misdiagnosing, but they're only looking at the symptoms. And the bacteria that I had, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I just tested to completely rule it out yesterday. And so the bacteria that I had, though, is known to cause kidney infections, teeth infections. It's caused to cause the stomach cancer. It's known to cause leaky gut, IBS, like severe allergies. I mean, some random stuff that a lot of people are popping pills because they want to try to get rid of the symptoms, but they never knew what the reason was. And I'm not saying like all of it is simply my experience, you guys, but I want you to realize that maybe, just maybe, if you go take a test and start the treatment and figure out what it is that's happening in your body, it could be helpful. So fast forward about 6 months into this whole thing, I went off of literally all the foods that were contributing to it. So I'm going to kind of go over everything that I'm still allergic to. A lot of grass and shrubs and stuff that are native to the desert. And so I think it's a sign for me to move to the beach, but we'll see. But you guys, my allergies were peanuts, wheat, like all gluten, walnuts, codfish, cow milk, so no dairy at all, soybean, shrimp, scallops, sesame seeds, hazelnut, cashews, almonds, salmon, tuna. And to add to the mix, I completely lost any taste for meat products, like at all. For the first probably 4 months, I stopped eating all like meat products. And now I'm actually grateful for that, because I like hardly, like 90% I'm vegetarian now. 90%, I'm not saying I still, still eat sometimes, but 70% and 90% of it is pretty much vegetarian. And so I went off of all those products for a while. It was hell, but I've learned that I started feeling amazing. Like, I'm a new person. I've been a new person for a few months, and like going into March, I realized that I was getting me back, like the way I feel, my energy and everything else. And so I also realized that I am healing, and I'm very intuitive with my body. And I saw that there are lots of things that are improving. And so I went to do the food test again, the food allergy test. And you guys, my doctor suspected that the gut bacteria that I was diagnosed with really created a chaos in my body. So my body literally freaked out and like started to attack itself, and thus I got allergies. Okay. So yesterday, or the day before, I can't remember, yesterday, I got the results back, and I can tell you guys, all my allergies to food sensitivities are literally gone, like gone, except for a very minimal trace of like sesame seed, peanuts, and wheat. Like no dairy, nothing. Like wheat, peanuts, and sesame seed. Like that's it. And it's considered to be class A, or undetectable, or super, super, super low, which to me, it's like mind blowing. So my doctor was right. My body, the bacteria caused such a crazy amount of stress on my body that it literally sent my body into chaos. And all my grass and shrubs and stuff that I was allergic to, I am down to class A, which is very minimal now. So to me, it's like a miracle. And guess what? So I did another like full-on test for him to see, because I always had white blood cells that were super low. So there was something going on for a long time, but they couldn't figure it out because I was sort of okay. Nothing really was bothering me until last year. And for the first time in many, 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 many years, my white blood cell count came in absolutely perfect. So that means I was fighting something, and that something was probably the bacteria.